so we're gonna speed off. All right, we're gonna go over candlesticks. So candlesticks is important. That's how we confirm our entries and exits in anything with price movement. They are very important. We have the Candlestick Bible trading book inside of the community. So that's the PDF. You could download it. It is highly suggested that you download this and breeze through it. I believe it's 100 pages, if that. Yep, 168 pages. There's very, very valuable information in there. Tells you about the shapes of candles, certain shapes you can expect, certain next movements. It's beautiful. It goes in depth. I am going to give you a clear overall idea what the candle is doing and why is it helpful to us. All right, so on the left, we have NVIDIA. We have that 1 hour time frame. Today's activity. This was Tuesday, today, June 9th, 9 a.m., the 1 hour candle. So each time frame, again, each chart time frame at the top here means each one of these candles represent that time frame that you're on. So on NVIDIA, this candlestick right here represents the price of NVIDIA between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. That's what the price did. And when you see a stick, also known as wick, like a little stem without a body, that represents price. A body was there, but price reversed. Every red candle opens at the top of the body, closes at the bottom of the body. Very, very important. So every candle will provide you 4 things. It will provide you an open price, a close price, a highest price that asset reached on that time frame you're looking at, and the lowest price that asset reached on the time frame you're looking at. Right? That is the only 4 things you will get out of a candlestick. But those are the only 4 things you should need when evaluating price action regarding that stock or asset you are looking at. Let's go over NVIDIA, today's price action for the 9 a.m., 10 a.m. time frame. That's this candle. So candle tells you NVIDIA opened at 209.55. And it's just the rough, because I put the prices at rough areas. If we hover over the candle, you can see at the top left, you see the O underneath the NVIDIA Corporation logo and name. You see a O. O represents open price. You see the H, that H represents highest price. You see the L, that L represents lowest price. You see the C, that C represents the close. Those are the absolute numbers. The price tags I put on the candlestick is just a roundabout, okay? It's open at this 209.55. On the open, people bought NVIDIA up. It went as high as 211. Opened at 209, went as high as 211. Out the door. Then it reached 211.39. Sellers pushed that thing back down all the way to 208.87. Heavy push down. When a price could go from 211.39 all the way back down to 208 within an hour, 4 points, that tells you something. That's like you listening to these songs. That's like you looking at art, trying to find the rhyme or the reasoning. That's what these candles should do for you. Okay, so that push down from 211.39 all the way down to 208.87 showed you that sellers was heavy. They said, we don't want NVIDIA all the way past 211. And then buyers bought it at 208.87 and pushed it all the way up to 209.16, the close. And NVIDIA closed at 209.16 at 10 o'clock. That's what that price action did for you from 9 to 10. From that price action, that should have allowed you to say, oh, snap, hold on. Sellers won that battle because NVIDIA went all the way up faked out some people who got in call contracts and dumped down and closed down there. And the shape of this candle too, it gives you extra confirmations about what you can expect next. So this is almost a hammer, right? A hammer shape. A hammer shape is a body closing at the tip of the wick. A hammer could be a bullish hammer, it could be a bearish hammer, but the body closes at the tip, whether the bullish at the top with no wick and the bearish at the bottom with no wick. So it's almost a hammer, sort of like a pin bar right now. And you get all of these names in this Candlestick Trading Bible book. You got that out this candle at 9 to 10 o'clock, price action activity. Okay? Again, highlighting sellers won that. They were strong in there. If we move forward, what can we expect? 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock candle. Can't make it up, y'all. So 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock candle came and voila, it went down. That prior candle told you that from the price movement, from the 9 to 10 o'clock 1 hour candle we just went over. We said sellers was heavy in here. That thing went all the way up to 211, got pushed all the way down to 208 and closed at 209. That told us sellers was rocking in there. So we could at least anticipated sellers to win the next hour. And that's what that showed. Now we have the 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock hour for NVIDIA. The 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour, we have a open here at 209.09. We have a close here at 206.38, roughly. Okay. We have a lowest point here at 204 that it went. And we have a highest point because we have a little nipple on top of that body. All right. You can't miss that. All right. Everything counts. Everything matters. So that little nipple right there at the top was the highest point. The highest price point NVIDIA went from 10 to 11 o'clock. All right. These prices again represents is the open. This is the close. This is the lowest price NVIDIA went between 10 and 11. And this is the highest price NVIDIA went between 10 and 11 o'clock. So it opened at 209. It went up to 209.17. Pushed down. Sellers pushed that puppy down all the way to 204.86. Then buyers bought it up to 206.38. Look at this price, right? Look at the price. Opened at 209. Pushed, sold all the way down to 204. That is 5 points, roughly. 5 points moved down. And then buyers pushed it up from 204 to 206, closing at a 3-point candle instead of a 4 or 5 point candle. But guess what? Sellers was strong, closing it at a 3-point candle. That is still more than 50% of the low to open price differentiation. The sellers won strong. Okay, that's important because I need that to understand what possibly could happen next. If that told me sellers was strong, I gotta anticipate the next candle to be red as well. With the caveat here, the caveat is this stick. All right, the stick means sellers was down here. This was all red all the way to 204, but buyers liked NVIDIA at 204. That's what this stick told us. So buyers bought a lot of NVIDIA at 204.86, pushed it up to the 206.38, and that's where it closed at. So this tells me, hey, you might get another red down, but be cautious. That's what this tells me. Be cautious. Buyers are in there. They're lurking. So let's move to the 11, 12 o'clock candle. Boom. All right, so 11, 12 o'clock candle came, and sure enough, we got what we expected, and that was more selling, okay? Bigger selling than we expected, right? Because we saw this bottom wick right here showing us buyers was heavy in there, but they just couldn't hold it. That's all that means. They just couldn't hold it. And that's cool too, because we still got to keep this wick in mind. Anytime you see a big wick, you got to keep it in mind. That means tread lightly and be cautious. All right. We have our next candle, which is the 11 to 12 o'clock candle. And we have the same 4 pieces of information on our candles that we always need to be looking at. That tells us everything. We need the data. The data matters, man. All right. So it opened at 206.36. It went as high as 206.77. Got pushed all the way down to the low, 202.90. Got bought up to the close, 203.02. All right. Solid red. So solid red is solid red. This is a big body red. Darn near minimum top wick, darn near no bottom wick. Okay. So that says sellers are strong. All right. Sellers are strong, meaning they want this NVIDIA price down. They selling their assets, they liquidating, they selling their contracts. That's what that means. Okay. And that is from 206.36 to 202.90. That is a roughly 4-point candle. All right. 3 and some change to be exact. Whole body candle. All right. So then now we say, okay, so sellers is there, man. They're strong. But still, we do not get in puts at the low, y'all. That rule has to remain when you execute in your trade. You're only getting puts at high levels, right? When that thing pulled back up to this 206, then you could execute a put contract and then ride that thing down. You don't get in down here or in the middle. That's called chasing. Because at the next moment, that thing could pop up on you and you in the hole now. All right. So now we evaluated this 11 to 12 o'clock candle. We move forward. All right. So we have a red candle here. And now this red candle looking a little weak. Right. It's looking a little weak. All the other candles prior was, chunky, big body. So now we look like we're running out of speed, running out of energy, because how do you get that? Is because the body, look at the body of the freaking candlestick. That body is getting thinner and thinner, smaller and smaller. Okay. So that is important to visualize, right? Just like we listening to that goddamn music. Let's let these candlesticks move and groove us, damn it. So we are sharp on the next move. All right. So this candle opened at 203.07. Went as high as 203.74. Got pushed all the way down to 199.41 and bought up to 201.96 and closed at 201.96. Okay. So that was a roughly 5-point differential between the open and the lowest price that NVIDIA made between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. And this candle right here definitely tells me, be mindful, buddy. This one gave us caution. All right. Be mindful. Go light, because it might be sellers might be done losing momentum. All right. This one absolutely tells me, all right, buddy, you might want to go ahead and just wait for the next candle to close and then look for a move up. That's what this candle tells you, because a body was all the way down here and buyers bought it all the way back up. All right. Although they closed red, look at the difference, the price difference. It was a 5-point price difference from the open to the low, but look what the difference was from the open to the close. 2 points. That means a lot. All right. Means sellers are getting weak, buyers are stepping in. So let's go check the next hour. Voila. Oh yeah. And you would have been absolutely right with your evaluation, because buyers sure enough stepped in and the next candle became green. But here's about green candles. Green candles open at the low and close at the high. Close at the top, okay? Open at the low, close at the top of the body, okay? That is important to understand, okay? And then the other two variables are the same as the red candle. You have your highest level made and you have your lowest level made, okay? All right, let me pull this up, sorry. Okay, highest level made and you have your lowest level made, okay? Okay, let me put that under. Boom. All right, so we have our green candle. Buyers stepped in. Big body too. So the price opened at 201 on this 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock candle. Price opened at 201.93. Price got pushed down initially to 201.55. Then buyers bought it up all the way to 205.37 and sellers sold it down to 205.06. Now, I want to show you something. This also helps you to know who's in control. So as the buyers was buying up, look at the differential of the open and the close candle. So the differential is roughly 4 points, okay? And look at the change of the high between the close and the change of the low between the open. They minimal. 30-cent difference between the open and the low. 31-cent difference between the highest point and the close, meaning sellers sold at 205.37 down to 205.06. Not a lot of selling. That's what that told me. Not a lot of selling happening, buddy. So if not a lot of sellers happening, what can you expect next? Voila! The next hour to be controlled by buyers. So between that 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock candle now, okay? Now, and we get the same 4 pieces of information from the candle. The highest point and the closing point, the lowest point, and the open price point. But the overall thing I need you to take from tonight is the price activity and what this candle is telling you. You have to be in sync with the candle. If you want to have an edge on what's next, yes, there's other tools, absolutely. This is the first responder right here, the candlesticks. They're gonna tell you what's going on regarding buyers and sellers, and that relates directly to price dropping or price going higher. So this 2 to 3 o'clock candle opened at 205.04, went as low as 204.88, got bought all the way up to 207.46, sold down to 207.07 and closed. So this one, you see, body is getting a little tighter. The differential between the close and the open is getting smaller, 2 points. Your high and your close is tight. So that means sellers are still not bulky in there at 2 to 3 o'clock. So let's see. All right, 3 to 4 o'clock. We got a low wick. Body was there. Red body was there. Sellers was heavy, but then buyers took the show, stole the show. That's what that means. Sellers was heavy here on this 3 to 4 o'clock candle, but buyers stole the show, meaning bought it up, pushed it back up. So it says the NVIDIA 3 to 4 o'clock opened at 207.06. Sellers pushed that thing, sold that thing to 204.45. Buyers bought that thing up to 208.33. Sellers pushed that thing down and it closed at 208.20. That's what this activity told you. That means buyers still in full control with this heavy low wick. Red was down here, but then buyers pushed that thing up and cleared the red out of there. All right. That's what that means. All right. So the next candle, voila, we got aftermarket. All right. This is the aftermarket activity. Okay. This is 5 to 6 o'clock activity. Okay. This 5 to 6 o'clock activity, a red candle tells us the open price. Again, remember, red candles always open where? It opened at the top. Red candles always close at the bottom. Always, always, always. Think of red closing at the bottom because it's going down. All right. Red closing at the bottom because it's going down. Green closing at the top because it's going up. Don't you forget that. Next candle, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock candle, opened at 208.06. Went as high as 208.86. Got sold down as low as 207.31. Got bought up to 207.48. So on the Candlestick Trading Bible, as I mentioned, just like we go find patterns of structure, the candles make patterns itself. So like this candle closing inside of the body of this green candle, it's referred to as a harami setup. And a harami is like you could expect the continuation of this candle that closed inside of the prior candle. Closed inside means this prior candle closed at the top right here. It closed at 208.20. This red candle opened at 208.19. Price wise, the body is inside of the prior green candle body. So that is a harami setup, candlestick setup, which again refers to this candle. Per the Candlestick Trading Bible, we should expect the next few candles to be the red candles going down. When we're looking at these candles, we're trying to gauge by absolute price that it's making at the close, at the open, at the high, at the low. It is making absolute price. So you ain't got to guess nothing. You ain't got to assume none of that. All you got to do is evaluate what you opened at, what you closed at, what was your highest price, what was your lowest price, and do your evaluation. So you opened at 208.16. You went as high as 208.86, 75 cents. You got sold down from 208.86 all the way down to 207.31, $1.50. And then buyers bought you up back to 207.48. So the highest point was 208.86. Sellers sold you down to close at 207.48, $1.40. And your open to close differential is less than $1. Sellers won that. So let's see. Voila. 6 to 7 o'clock candle. Not big, but goddamn it, you was on something, evaluating the candle. At least you wasn't in the wrong direction.